Barely 20 days to the start of the 2024 Olympic Games, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has finally unveiled a strong squad for the competition. All the selected athletes participated at the national trials in Benin and also at the African Athletics Championship in Douala, Cameroon. According to the list released on Saturday afternoon, expectedly, the likes of Tobi Amusan, Ese Brume, Favour Ofili made the list, and Team Nigeria will compete in 9 events, respectively, in both the men and women's categories, and also in the mixed 4x400 meters as well. The athletes will depart for Germany, where they will observe their training camp before leaving for France. Well, there you see it on your screen. The likes of Favour Ofili, Ese Brume, and Konyisola Ajayi will compete in the men's 100 meters. Unveils in the men's 200 meters as well. The men's 400 meters, we have Deji Ogenyinbo, Samuel Ogazi. The men's 800 meters, Edose Ibadin. The men's 400 meter hurdles, Ezekiel Nathaniel. The men's javelin, Prosper Chinechere. The men's shot put, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi. The men's 4x400 meters, Alaba Akintola, Favour Ofili, Ese Brume, Konyisola Ajayi, Unveils, and Usheorishe Ishekiri. And the men's 4x400 meters will see Deji Ogenyinbo, Dubem Amene, Dubem Nwachukwu, Ifeanyi Ojeli, and Samuel Ogazi. For the women's team, we have Favour Ofili, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Tima God Bless, all competing in the women's 100 meters. Favour Ofili in the women's 200 meters. In the women's 400 meters, we'll have Ella Onovujevo, Esther Elo Joseph, and the women's 100 meter hurdles, not surprisingly, Tobi Amusan is there. The women's long jump, we have 3 athletes there. Of course, we do know of Ese Brume and Ruth Usoro, but they've been joined by Prestina Ochonogo, who was previously based in Nigeria, but a little bird told me that she will be moving to the United States of America pretty soon. The women's high jump will see Temitope Adesina, who did brilliantly well just a few weeks ago, breaking a long-standing Nigerian record. And the women's hammer will see Shade Olatoye. Women's discus, Ashley Anumba, Chioma Onyekwere, and Obiageri Amechi. Remember them? All of them picked up medals at the African Games 1, 2, 3. It was a podium sweep for Nigeria. And the women's 4x100 meters, there's Favour Ofili, Justina Eyakpoboyen, Olayinka Olajide, who we had on this show a few weeks ago, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Tima God Bless. The mixed 4x400 meters will see Ella Onovujevo, Esther Elo Joseph, Israel Okon Sunday, Patience Okon George, Omolara Ogumakinju, and Sikiru Adeyemi. Well, joining us now all the way from Atlanta in the United States of America is our good friend, athletics expert and country manager of Making of Champions, one of Nigeria's foremost athletics promotions company, Deji Ogenyinbo. Thank you for joining us tonight. You've looked at this list, and in fact, Making of Champions actually, interestingly, probably brought out this list before the AFN did. I don't know where you get your sources from, but looking at this list, Deji, good list, solid list, medal-winning list?
Good evening.
It's evening.
Medal winning list, I don't know about that, but it's a very good list. I would say it's about 99% accurate. Obviously, there was a ranking system and qualification system the Olympic Committee had set, and World Athletics obviously had used as a criteria to give us a basis for most of this federation, including the AFN, to select athletes. And there's been a bit of rocker in terms of selection processes, but it's worth noting that the primary criteria is you meet the qualifying standard, which accounts for 50% of the qualifying process, and the other 50% is be in the top 32 or top 50 of your rankings, the road to Paris in the last 1 year. Some athletes in this in the list met the qualifying standard. People like Tobi Amusan, athletes like Favour Ofili, Ese Brume, Ese Brume, they met the qualifying standard. Others qualified by world ranking and then be national champions, likes of Konyisola Ajayi. In terms of rankings to the women Amastro team, the women discus team, likes of Chioma, Ashley, as well as Obi, all qualified by the rankings. Shade Olatoye also qualified by the rankings too. So it's there's a very huge correlation between athletes that met the qualifying standard and potentially winning medals, and the ones that just made it via the rankings. You're making it via the rankings means that you've accumulated top quality results over a period of 1 year, and it's just enough for you to keep you in the rankings and qualify for the Olympics. So we'll take the men's 100 meters, for example. Only Favour Ofili and Ese Brume were able to run faster than 10.00 seconds. Favour Ofili did a 9.94, Ese did a 9.99 seconds this year already, so they qualified automatically. And judging by that, you could say they are the ones that have got the potential to perhaps make the semi-final or the final of the men's 100 meters, depending on the sort of form they are in going to the championships. But you look at the list overall, and I've sat down, analyzed it deeply, and I can only tell you for free that only Tobi Amusan is our potential medalist, right?
Wow.
And I honestly want her to go for gold. I honestly wish she can get the gold, and I'm pretty sure she will be able to get it. That's the only thing left in her kitty. She narrowly missed out on the medal in Tokyo 3 years ago, where she finished fourth. And now, having become the Commonwealth Games champion, world champion, Diamond League champion, world record holder, African Games champion, she literally won everything except the Olympics, right? So this is the only thing left for Tobi, and it will be a thing of joy for Nigerians. For the rest, you could see finalists amongst them. Track and field is pretty much very predictable, but nothing is cast in stone. Anything can happen. The women's 4x1 relay is a potential medal, depending on how teams also fumble the baton and Nigeria also gets its acts right. Perhaps also the mixed 4x4. We've done well in major championships in the last 4 years since its inception in, I think, at the Tokyo Olympics, where we've always made the final. So I think those are the two places I can perhaps see us getting medals. Then maybe Ese Brume, she's been having neglected.
Yes, I was going to come to that actually. Of course, everybody knows, Tobi Amusan's potential. I was thinking probably in the long jump, Ese Brume showed tremendous consistency over the last half a decade or so. If anyone could, from out of left field, could possibly get to a podium place, it might be Ese Brume, don't you think?
No doubt, no doubt. She's been a consistent performer for Nigeria at top competitions over the years. But the last year, 1 year, I've seen her struggle with injuries, and she hasn't really hit peak form. And at this stage, you must be willing to jump 7 meters to at least guarantee yourself in the top 3. And Ese hasn't jumped 7 meters since the Commonwealth Games in 2022 in Birmingham, and all because of the injury. So if she's been able to shake that off, no doubt, she narrowly missed out on a medal at the World Championship, finishing 4th. Last year, I think she was displaced on the last jump by another jumper. So she's an experienced athlete, no doubt. She's one to look forward to. I like the progression of the likes of Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, who has come close to throwing 22 meters this year. Temitope Addition also setting the new personal best in the women's high jump. You look at potentials like Ruth, like Christina, also doing well for themselves. The discus, you could see 1 or 2 finalists amongst them. But the reality is that the reason the Olympics is the pinnacle of all sporting events, you need to be in the top 1% of your event to be almost guaranteed a medal. And in this case, we are in a phase of athletics where Tobi is the only athlete that you can say, or perhaps Ese Brume is in the top 0.701% of their events that can get us a medal, and that's just the reality.
Sad.
Deji, how are you doing? I don't know if you followed recent events. I think yesterday, the president of the Athletic Federation of Nigeria had to react to certain insinuations that, I think some athletes were trying to whip up sentiments that they were dropped, some of the best athletes were dropped, and he had to issue a statement trying to analyze how they got to the selection, how they selected the athletes. And I want you to give me more insight because I know that you are very close to the Federation. I know you also know a lot of things. What happened? Is there some element of truth in that allegation?
Thank you for the question. So it's something I was trying to avoid myself, but I've spoken to some insiders. I just had a conversation with one person in the technical committee a couple of hours ago. And the truth is, there is always room for subjectivity when it comes to selection by the team or by the AFN. That would always be there. The US have decided that the top 3 from the Olympic trials are the ones that would go for the Olympics. Athemul fell, and no sort of plea they gave did not fall on deaf ears. But regardless of how solid proof of their selection processes, there's also room for subjectivity in the selection for their relay poll, because for the relays, not the top 3, it's the top 4 now, right? But we're having instances where they are selecting a 16-year-old who finished 6th in the men's 400 meters because he kind of fits the bill for what they want. Now, back to Team Nigeria. The men's 100 meter is one case study. We have Ese Brume, we have Favour Ofili, and we have Kanyinsola in the men's 100 meters flat. Godson and Favour were the only two athletes that qualified automatically via the Olympic standard. Now, Kanyinsola is the national champion. He has also qualified via the world rankings. But another person that immediately has qualified off the rankings is Ese Brume, but Ese was not part of the relay pool. And you bring in an Alaba Akintola who has not qualified over the rankings in the 100 meters, has not qualified over the rankings in 20 meters. But because he has a good history of doing well for Team Nigeria in the 4x1 relay, especially running that top bend very well, they decided to put him as part of the relay pool. And let's not also forget that the IOC has sent a memo to all federations that we can only have 5 athletes in the relay pool. The 6 athletes that usually have has been scrapped. So even the 5th athlete is more of an alternate athlete at this point in time. And the 5th, so the top 3, like I mentioned, Kanyinsola, Ajayi, Ese Brume, and Favour Ofili. The 4th person they decided to go with was Oserise Shekiri, and is the next highest person on the ranking, right? So which obviously makes sense because he also finished 3rd at the national trials. He's a consistent performer for Nigeria. But you begin to ask questions why they include someone like Israel Okun, who finished 6th, and Sheye Ogulewa is not there, Enoch Adegoke is not there. Sheye is already qualified by the world rankings. You say the same thing of Alaba Akintola too. But like I said, this is where subjectivity comes in and where you feel as a relay team, this is the best that we can get out of them if you combine them together. So no selection will always be 100% foolproof. But like I said, when Tunde talked about the selection process, for me, I think it's 95% accurate based on what they've done, right? So Israel...
you said 99 before, now it's 95. Yeah, he's shortening now, yeah? But I hear you, Deji, and I understand what you're saying. At times you have to.
Yes.
There's always a place for subjectivity, past performance, a history, and then also there's precedence as well in terms of competing for Nigeria at the highest level. So that's pretty much the purview of the technical committee of the AFN. So I understand that. But let's leave Team Nigeria beside. Let's move on forward to Africa, where Kenya's Faith Kipyegon actually delivered a perfect boost for the Paris Olympics by breaking her own world record, the women's 1,500 meters at the Paris Diamond League on Sunday. Guided by 2 pacemakers, Kipyegon surged the front and finished in a time of 3 minutes 49.04 seconds, improving on her previous record by 0.07 seconds, which is set in 2023 in Florence. The 30-year-old is set to return to Paris as a top contender for the gold medal, the double Olympic 1,500 meter champion and 3-time world title holder, also won the 5,000 meters at the Budapest Championship last year. Deji, very quickly, this woman has been phenomenal. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Can she go for a 3rd one? And can she go for a double in the 1,500 and 5,000 meters?
Mother Faith, like they call her, she's transcended what we typically know as middle distance running. And last year, we thought she had reached that peak where she broke the world record in the 1,500 and the 5,000 meters, winning gold in both events at the World Championship in Budapest. And this season, she didn't really start well. She started off a bit.
This is only her 3rd race this year, Deji. Only her 3rd race. It's incredible.
Yes,
she 4th? Okay.
Her first race was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. And she's already broken the wall. It's incredible.
So she ran the 1,500 and the 5,000, and now she's doing the 1,500. It was on this same ground she broke the 5,000 meter record last year in Paris, which was eventually taken down by Gudaf Sergei of Ethiopia at last year's Diamond League final in Eugene. But regardless, she's one that you put in the same breath as Usain Bolt in terms of how much they transcended the sport. And what makes her special, perhaps beyond what the hardcore fans would see, is the fact that she pulls other athletes running with her to run personal best and reach lifetime best. Yesterday, of the 13 athletes that ran alongside her, 12 of them, 11 of them all set new personal best. It's the first time in history that we had 12 athletes going sub 4 minutes in the 1,500. That's never happened before in history, and that's how good Faith is. She literally, of course, the pacemaker also played a huge part, but she was able to inspire other athletes to run that fast. The likes of Laura Muir also coming through after losing the British trials too. So I'm looking forward to her dominating in Paris. No doubt about that. She's going to, Sifan Hassan, who has always been a major challenger to us.
From the Netherlands, yeah.
Yesterday and finished 5th in our own event. So This one person that you have said would have given Faith a run for her money, but she's been having a topsy-turvy season so far. We don't even know the event.
I understand, Deji, but very, very quickly, can she win Olympic double? 1,500 and 5,000?
Absolutely. She did it in Budapest last year, so that was a cue to know what's possible for her. So
okay.
She's